All right, class. I'm gonna need you to complete this packet that pretty much can holds all the properties for exponents, which is a new unit we're starting. Um, I will be out due to being chosen for jury duty. I think it's stated on the team's assignment. The judge said the case could go from 3 days to maybe a week. Hopefully, it's three. If it goes past Wednesday, I will come by and pick up the work that you're turning in and then just be checking your progress with things I'm posting on Teams or on Edpuzzle or Desmos, whatever I'm going to assign online to check your understanding. Let's check that you're still receiving the instruction and your understanding. So if you're not able to follow this packet of our rules, I should be either receiving an email from you or you should be trying to get help from your class members in your group. Okay, so to get into what we're going to do for this next unit, which is exponent rules, you need to understand the parts to an exponent. Let me get my pencil here. So, oops. So this is a condensed form where the x is your base and the 6 is the exponent. Okay, that's the subscript in the upper right hand corner. So the exponent tells you how many factors you have of the base. So if you look right here, this is the expanded form, and they showed x times x times x 6 times. So if I have x to the fourth times x to the third, I'm going to start with the first. Let me get my font. This first term, I'm going to expand. So the exponent is 4, so I need to show 4 factors of x. So that's saying x times x 4 times x. And then I go to the next term, which is x to the third. And so the exponent is 3, so that means I have 3 factors of x. And there's our expanded rule. So we're just going to use the expanded rule to come up with our rule when multiplying exponents with the same base. So we're going to expand each expression here and then write the condensed exponential expression. So we're going to show, hopefully you're going to see a pattern here. So if I do this first term here, x to the second times x to the third, I need 2 factors of x, and then multiply by 3 factors of x. So my condensed means I just add up all the number of factors I have. That would be x to the 5th power. Okay, so if I have x to the 4th times x to the second, that means 4 factors of x for the first one, 2 for the second one, okay, which gives me a total of 6 factors. Hopefully we're seeing a pattern here maybe with our expression to our condensed. So like on this next one, x to the third, 3 factors of x, then times another 5 factors of x, times 2 more, gives me a total of x to the 10th power. So what I want you to do is try to show the expanded for each, or show how to get to the condensed. Hopefully we see the pattern here, okay? We're going to come up with a generic rule. And I'm not sure if you noticed prior, I could get to that answer if I just add, because when I'm multiplying and the bases are the same, I just add 3 and 5 is 8 plus 2 is 10. So hopefully you have x to the 15th here and x to the 50th here. So as long as the bases are same, see we have both x's. When I multiply the exponents, the general rule is you keep the base and then you add the exponent. So that's why I'm put a plus b there. That's our general rule. So once I see that, I can just go straight to doing the addition. So this would be x to the 20th power. I'm just doing 13 plus 7. This is x to the 7th power, x to the 11th power, and this would be x 9, 15, 12 would be 12, 50. Okay. So just add the exponents when you're multiplying the like bases, like variables. Okay. Now, I'm going to take that product rule, adding the exponents, and expand it to the power rule. So What's outside the parentheses here, this is telling me the number of factors I have of what's inside the parentheses. So 3 factors of x squared. So my expanded rule would be, oh, it's not showing. Would be saying I'm having x to the second power times x to the second power times x to the second power. I'm 3 factors of that. Now if I expand that even further based on what we did, x to the second power means I'm just saying x times x. X times x. X times x. So our condense, and even if I do my exponent rule here, 2, 4, 6, our condense form would be x to the 6th power. So x to the 4th to the raised to the 2nd power, this 2 tells me I have 2 factors of x to the 4th power. Well, I can, expand it further, or I can just do my exponent rule, which means I have the same base of x. I'm multiplying, so I'm just going to add those, and that will give me x to the 8th power. Now there's a shortcut here. I'm not sure if you're seeing. When I have an exponent outside the parentheses, the key to this is I have to see parentheses. I have to see the exponent outside. If there's an exponent outside the parentheses compared to our exponent inside, now we're just multiplying the 2 together. If I do 3 times 2, that gives me 6. If I do 2 times 4, that gives me the 8. So x to the 2nd power raised to the power of 6 would end up being x to the 12th power. Okay? This would be x to the 15th power. So I don't want to do expanded rule, especially when I get something real big like this, because this will be x to the 100th power. I don't want to write 100 factors of x. So our power rule for exponents basically says you take the base, which is the x, and now when I have an exponent outside the parentheses, we're going to multiply the exponents together. So if I'm putting this, if I'm showing the rule, this is saying x 3 times 7, which is x to the 21st. Now I know you could do this, a lot of this you can do mentally. So this like would be x to the 40. So just do the multiplication and write it in the condensed form with the base and the new exponents. This is to the 36. This is x to the 100. Okay. So I want you to use your calculator if you need to. Finish this. This one ends up being x to the 1575. And this is x to the 132. Okay. So exponent outside the parentheses, we multiply to condense it. Okay. All right, so that's our first 2 pages. We go to the back of this page. We're now going to get into power of the product rule. Okay. So I'm going to show the expanded rule and then rearrange it to help you see whenever we raise a power to 2 bases or more than basically just 1. So xy to the 3rd power means I have xy times xy times xy. So I'm showing that 3 times. Now if I rearrange it, like put all my x's together, all my y's together, I can now see that this has basically a exponent. The x's have an exponent of 3 to the 3rd power, and the y also has an exponent of 3 because there's 3 factors of each. So if I'm doing x squared w raised to the power of 3, so I'm getting 3 factors of that. And then if I rearrange that, okay, all my x's are together. And so this ends up turning into x to the 6th power, w to the 3rd power, because I have 3 factors of w. And then I just add up my exponents here. There's 6 of them. So I want you to try the next 2, and then see if you can get to the condensed. There is a pattern, and this one might be a little bit harder to see, because what ends up happening is the exponent outside ends up having to distribute to each base inside the parentheses. So hopefully you saw this condensed was going to be x to the fourth power, y to the fourth power, and z to the fourth power. So here we should have a to the fifth power and b to the fifth power. So to understand the general rule is we're distributing the exponent to each term. So I have to raise each base to that exponent. That's why I have x to the power a and y to the power a. So the way that looks, especially if you end up with a coefficient, see I have this 3 in front of the x, that's my coefficient. I'm going to distribute basically this exponent of 3 to each term. So that's saying the coefficient 3 has an exponent of 3, and the x has an exponent of 3. Well, 3 to the third power is 27. So this is 27x to the third power. Now, if there's already exponents inside of here, we still do our power rule. So this x already has an exponent of 2. Now I'm multiplying that exponent of 4 to that when I distribute that one. And then I'm doing y to the third power, but then I'm multiplying that 4 to that exponent. So this gets simplified to x to the 8th power, y to the 12th. Okay. So distribute your exponent outside the parentheses to each term. So 4 to the second, and this is x to the third times 2. Well, if I square 4, that's going to give me 16x to the 6th power. Okay. So let's see if we can try the next one and get it simplified. We're distributing the 2 to each variable and even the coefficient. So this actually turns into 25 because 5 squared is 25. X to the second power, y to the fourth power because you multiply those, and then z to the second power. Okay. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to now look at the power rule or the power of the quotient. So remember, the exponent is telling you how many factors you have with the quotient. Quotient is just a fraction or division, okay? So I have 3 factors of x over y, okay? And if I simplify this, that means in my fraction, I have 3 factors of x's and 3 factors of y. So the exponent outside the parentheses has to be distributed to the top and to the bottom, to the numerator and the denominator. So if I was doing x divided by y to the third power, if I'm raising to a power of 2, I am showing that 2 times. So this would be x over y to the third times x over y to the third. This would be condensed to x squared over y to the 6th power. So same premise here. 3 factors of this quotient. So x over y to the 4th times x over y to the 4th. I'm doing this 3 times. X over y to the 4th. So this is going to be x to the third power. There's 3 factors of x's over y to the 12th power. Now, if there's coefficient, you still are doing each factor. So this is 2x over 3. We're going to do 4 factors of this. So 2x over 3 times 2x over 3 times 2x over 3. But when I condense this, I'm multiplying 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. That's going to give me 16 x to the fourth power over, when I multiply by 3's, it comes out to be 64. So the general rule for the quotient rule raised to a power is basically I'm distributing that power to the top and to the bottom. So this is x to the a power over y to the a power. So if I'm simplifying this, not this example here, this would be 4 to the power 2 over x to the power 2, and 4 squared is 16 over x squared. Let me change my font. So on this one here, we're doing 3 to the power of 3, x to the power of 3 over 2 to the power of 3, and y to the power of 3. I'm raising that power to the top and the bottom. This simplifies to 27 x to the third power over 8 y to the third power. Alright, so now you're going to use these rules to do some practice on IXL. So let me find where my IXL is. This is it. Yours might not be in this order. I think this is y'all's class. No, it's not. Yes, it is. Yeah, the one you have to do is 52. And if you can't find it, you can just hit the magnifying glass here and then type in those 3 letters that I have on your checklist. 52N. It'll pop up. Yep, here it is. And then you go into it. Don't forget you have a video to go over your set of problems, or you can learn by an example. If you have coefficients, meaning numbers on the outside, you still have to multiply those together. So this would be 50, and then this would be Q, and then I can use this box here to get my exponent to the second power, because we had 2 factors of Q right there. You're going to submit your answer. I'll check it. You might have different levels. I'm going to go ahead and jump a level, see what this one looks like. So now we have multiple variables, okay? You still want to multiply your coefficients together. So anytime you're doing the multiplication rule, just multiply numbers together. That's in front of letters. And then exponents, you're going to have to add those together. So just don't get that, I guess, confused. So like this, I know 63, and then my A, this A here, probably need to get this pencil tool. Let me get that pencil tool like this. So this A, I know there's no exponent, but it's like an invisible 1. So this is going to turn into A to the 6th power, because that 5 and the 1 is going to give me 6. Then I'm going to go over and do my B's. I have an 8, and then this one, so that's going to be B to the 9th. And then my C, I have a 9 and this 1, so that'd be C to the 10th. And so the goal here is to get 85 to get max points, and then you can go on to the next one. So you should be following your checkoff list, guys, here. All right, this will be a grade. It'll be a double grade, and it will be checked weekly. Like if I'm not back by Wednesday, I will be coming up to get the work. So just make sure we get this done. All right, thanks.